If someone realizes that every day is merely a different night, realizes that his eyes are equivalent to someone else's eyes, then he will fervently seek for true daylight. The daylight would completely awaken him. To awake when you're already awoke makes everything seem much clearer. Then he'll finally realize that to those who had two eyes, he had only one. To those who could see, he was blind. Wow, we really came back from the moon in a blink of an eye. This is the deep? I see. The deep is a ruin of the previous era's technology center in Mu. It's expected that the stargates to send us here. New Atra, that's what it means. It was once part of a city called Atra. That's likely because it's connected to the other side of the moon through the stargate that is called New Atra. But this is the Marianas Trench's deepest point. If we're going somewhere else on Earth, it's going to take some effort. Right. If things are as distorted by Project Sigma here as they are on the moon, it'll be difficult to use the Hersh of the Void's power. Branya, are we currently in the Eye of the Deep? Yes. There was a time this was directly connected to and influenced by the Sea of Quanta, but now Branya gaze fell on Sela. The Sea of Quanta can hardly be felt now. It's different from when anti-entropy closed the Eye of the Deep. Project Sigma is affecting this place, but it's still relatively stable with the Sea of Quanta's power balancing out that effect. Which means, without intervention, this city in the deep will become part of Project Sigma in time. According to everything we know, Project Sigma tries to write the world into a dreamland, but it's difficult to say just what that means. We should investigate the city then, whether anything changed or not. It should provide valuable experiences to help us get acquainted to this place. Right, according to Durandal, the Earth probably isn't how we remember it. There are 7 of us. If we head out from here, should we split up and find out what's going on? That's the most efficient, and the city isn't very large. If we run into trouble, we can still help each other out. How about Kiana and Mei on a team, Fu Huan, Hersh of Sentience on a team, and Sela and Branya on a team? Kiana's team can start checking out the nearby space and find a way to establish contact. Maybe Fu Hua's team can try to find out the extent of Project Sigma's effect on humans and the world. And since Sela and Branya are familiar with the deep, we should be able to find some resources anti-entropy left behind. That all makes sense. Let's split up. Mei and I will start here and check out the nearby space. That's a good idea. The Hersh of Sentience says that even though we're 6,000 meters under the sea right now, she still wants to find a place high that she can look out from. Branya, if we're looking for supplies, shouldn't we go where the Hyperion has stopped? Right. If Brownell remembers correctly, Dr. Einstein kept all sorts of equipment there to conduct experiments transferring Honkai energy into the sea of quanta. The city might look safe, but we can't be too careful. World Serpent made quite a stir here. Right. Kiana and Mei should also be on their toes. Right, let's use Herschel of Sentience Consciousness Network to keep in contact. It's nothing, it's just that the Herschel of Sentience says, Alright, look, old timer, it doesn't have to be story time, you know? Well, as long as you remember that all that the fantastic Herschel of Sentience does for you. I'm not looking for fame or fortune. I just want you to remember I've done things for you that no one could. Got it? Right, thank you, Herschel of Sentience. Alright, Senti, now is not the time for a lecture. Since we all know that what we're doing, let's get to it like Kiana said. As the last wave of monsters vanished, the disorganized space had finally calmed. Hey! The moment everything had settled, Durandal saw that familiar figure appear just where she was again. Accurately speaking, a few meters above where she had disappeared. As skilled as she was, she still fell abruptly. Su-shang, are you alright? I'm fine, just a little dizzy, like when I've been shaken around in a chariot for miles. It is indeed uncomfortable to lose your way in imaginary space. But thankfully it was you. I prepared myself for the worst and intended to search even further. Fortunately, I kept holding my breath and managed to stay at my original location. Enough about this. What happened just now? I didn't do anything, but my surroundings changed drastically. Simply put, it's just a disorder in the imaginary space. I followed the principles of some stabilizers and managed to repair this area. Durandal explained everything that happened just now to Li Su-shang. But truthfully speaking, I was blindly trying. I didn't actually understand the real reason behind the space disorder. Hey, you've got it down since you managed to solve the problem, and I think it's not too difficult to understand how it happened. Think about it. Those who have starved would lose their cool before a feast. Those who have been isolated for cultivation lose their morals over trivial troubles. You mean because the space has always relied on stabilizers to be too stable, it will fall into disorder once it receives a smidge of abnormal information. We're like two pebbles that have created ripples in the stream of information. I guess, but as I said, since the problem is solved, overthinking would only decompose you. Speaking of which, we probably found a way to get out of here. Yeah, we just have to continue forward as we did before. If the situation is like what you've said, it might happen again if we stay. I feel like I did nothing to help in the end. How about you go in the next time? You're right. I've drifted in the imaginary space a few times in the past. I am more experienced. Wow, I was just kidding. We've been held back for too long. Maybe Kiana and the rest would return before us. Oh, right. What attractions are there on land now? Anywhere I can get to drink milk tea? We can't be sure now. But this milk tea that you speak of. Huh? You've never seen it before. How can you be even more out of touch than me? And I've slept for centuries. Come on, let's hurry. I must introduce it to you. Clearly, she did not know this well-disciplined girl enough. That's not what I meant, Su-shang. Never mind. After all, we all train differently. Our need for sugar would be different too. The path ahead quickly appeared. The two who had been marching on quickly did not take time to recompose themselves, and proceeded to the next stop. The elevator seemed to be water damaged and can't move. The water level has gone down. What's wrong, Sila? Well, I was just thinking about Kevin. What kind of person is he? Rania's gaze fell on Fu Hua. Right, to you, he's only ever been an enemy. I heard that when Sila ran into him in the Sea of Quanta, he was pretending to be a giant snake. That's Kukulkan, one of the incarnations of Vipralopa class Honkai beast Brahma, a product of Project Stigma, just like Gatlok and Kuatu, adapted to Sea of Quanta. Klalok. That's a huge monster Bronya took down, right? Right. So he probably just chose whatever incarnation that looked most normal. I knew it. You just want to stick up to that old-timer. If you ask me. If you could express yourself as openly as I do, things wouldn't have gotten to this point. After so many years, what can pioneers from the previous era sit down and talk about? You can always talk things out. Kevin ought to come out to Shenzhou and get a little rest and relaxation. I don't think this is something that can be just fixed over a cup of tea. Hard to keep in touch after such long time. After waking up from the sanctuary, Sue, Kevin, and I all promised to talk to each other. But slowly we began only talking to each other every few months, then once every year, then once a decade. But why? Time does that to you. Over hundreds of thousands of years, something new comes along and breaks the rules. All those rules end up just looking like red tape. But once you start seeing everything as mere red tape to be broken, well, you've seen the end result. Brian noticed that in Mount Taishan, right, this old-timer has forgotten how to play with kids. Right. Brian had wondered why Fu Hua had valued experience at St. Freya as much as we did, despite the age difference. Huh? Right. After all the time, St. Freya was the only place where time seemed to flow normally for me. You really are an old-timer. Most people try to make their favorite moments last forever. That's true, but people only realize they're alive when time passes by. Moving stories to story, experiencing one ending after another, constantly creating entirely new possibilities. It might sound like a contradiction, but contradiction lies in the very essence of human being. Alright. We're talking about Kevin, right? Why we start talking about the Herrscher of Reason's time all of a sudden? For the past 10 million years, we pioneers thought we were solving all these contradictions, but in trying to do that, just as Kevin did, we created new ones. No one wants to be destroyed by finality, but that's exactly why Kevin is so desperate for Project Stigma. Desperate? That's not necessarily true. It's not so much desperation, but rather he puts his hope in all of you. He sees in you all something he's been looking for a long time. Then he'll be at his full strength, and you can fight to death. Huh? Herrscher of Sentience. Did you say that right? She did. And her answer answers the original question. What kind of person is Kevin? And so, outside the realm, by chance, she reminisced about the time tens of thousands of years ago when a needle was put to that farewell record for the first time. Sue, Hua, I'll leave the rest to you. This is our last chance before our actions take their toll. For it, I must load my life into the chamber. Kevin, you want us to do the same, right?
A 级部署。你见过星星粉碎的样子吗？能量解线，全领域覆盖，调用后备能源。检索反应，全数清除。安息吧，拥抱你的力量吧，夏。 是，不信你试了。Annihilation， 立即执行。
The city hasn't changed at all.
还真是一点都没变呢。
If things weren't so bad, this would be a great place to visit. Alright, according to the plan, this is where we'll split up. Sounds good. I see a balcony over there. I bet the signal will be pretty good. Really? Thank you.
“重构伪装，启用手动驾驶，确认激活状态。激发保险，立即解除。”急救位，检索反应全数清除。构建火力连携。你逃掉了。
I didn't realize you wanted in on the action too.
有兴趣
Sila.
希尔
Huh, that's a dumb thing to
你
say.
说什么蠢话？
She was the one who insisted that I come out for some air. That's good too.
那不也挺好吗？毕竟
This is only our
现
second
在只
time
剩得上我
together,
们第二
right?
次一起行动，对吧？
Third,
已经3次了
stupid.
傻瓜。
The second time was in Colliston. Physically and mentally exhausted from creating Selene, you fell in Sila's arms out
骨头
cold.
一样软在希尔怀里，怎么叫都叫不醒。
Sila seemed completely lost. I didn't like seeing her like that, so I had to make an appearance and help you.
帮了你们一把。在那之后
Afterward,
你们
you
又互爱
cried
喊了
Sila's
一句
name in a
希尔
daze.
老
I
实
wonder,
说
Branya,
Branya，
if you knew
你
which
应该
Sila you were
搞真清楚
calling for.
自己在叫哪个希尔吗？
What are you laughing at? Bryan's just surprised you included that
你居然把
time.
那一次也算了
But
进去。
now that you mentioned it,
不过，既然刚好提到，
Branya
那一次
did feel the
布拉
power
尼的
of
确感受
two
到了两份
Silas.
希尔的力量。
It's a bit late now, but thank you, Sila.
谢谢你，希尔。
Oh, what's wrong with you? Forget it. I'm not gonna talk about this
懒得和
anymore.
你扯这些乱七八糟的东西。
Branya. Sila wanted to share her dear Branya what had happened on the moon, but never found the chance.
但又总找不到合适的机会。
Like when she woke up alone, confused in New Atra's shelter, she had to find her friends all by herself and even help some strangers along the way. And when you fell into that deep coma, no one was more worried than her. But you'd never know it looking at her. She quietly carried on doing everything she could. That kid has grown a lot. There are a lot of times I didn't come out. I think she's better for it. So that's why you haven't made an appearance since you got away from here.
就一直不主动露面的原因吗？
Why?
你就那么
Were
想
you
见我？
looking for me? Yes, you're both
毕竟你们都
Sila
是
after
Sila.
all. You. Whatever, we have
随你
work to
便吧
do.
反正我们还要干正事呢。
Haha. Don't laugh.
别笑了。
Huh? Who's that? Ah, so it is you, Susanna. Branya, Sila. Am I seeing things? Are you here to save me? Don't be stupid. How did someone from Ch34 HQ end up here? I'm not sure either. I just took a nap at work before. I never thought I'd end up in the deep when I woke. You know this place? Yes, Act1-pt2 told me a group of immortal blades run into the Far East branch under Teresa-sama a couple times in the deep. That's all in the past. Compared to this, you look like you're trying to figure out how to move the supplies. That's right. I built up the courage to walk around here earlier, but I didn't see anyone. The comms equipment is all busted. Only the provisions look good. The storage is cold and damp over here. I want to find a different place to set up camp. Sounds tough. It's not a problem. I'm still looking for fabric for a hammock. But aren't you here to rescue me? Like I said, don't be stupid. Sila and Branya went over what happened on the moon. Uh-huh. But if that's the case, what am I doing here? Branya is also confused. Susanna, what were you working on when you said you were taking a nap at work and suddenly appeared here? I was helping Nagamitsu-sama prepare for her experiment. Ch34 has just finished repairing Cosmic Juggernaut. Before beginning a new experiment, someone had to clean up inside the Divine Key to make sure nothing messed with the experiment. Tell you the truth, the air in there is so stuffy. I was just taking a little break, and that's when I fell asleep. And when you woke up, you were already here. Yeah, maybe the Divine Key's power went out of control. There might be other factors at play, but we shouldn't waste time just making guesses. I remember you mentioned all the comm equipment being broken. Why is that? I've only run some simple tests, but I think the circuits were just fried. I thought if I fixed them, I could establish contact with the outside world. Is this also an effect to Project Stigma, or... If that's true, you're the Herrscher of Reason. Branya, shouldn't you be able to fix it? Is that true? Branya doesn't know for sure, but we can give it a shot.